Is Bill O'Neill currently the greatest bowler in the world? Last year was a breakout season for Billy O when he finally captured his first PBA Tour title at the 2009 World Series of Bowling.
Told you guys at home I'd get one. I told you.
And then brought home one of bowling's most elusive prizes, the US Open. After dominating this summer on the international scene, O'Neill is back on the Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour, one of the forces to be reckoned with in the Viper Championship at this year's World Series of Bowling. Is Bill O'Neill really the real deal? The Pepsi Viper Championship is next. Over 250 professional bowlers from 14 different countries, bowling on 5 different oil patterns, have invaded Las Vegas to be part of an event unlike any other in sports. The PBA World Series of Bowling. It's the ultimate test. 6 PBA Tour titles, all decided in a 5-man stepladder format, with an uninterrupted championship match each week. It all leads up to the main event, January's PBA World Championship, the first major of the season. It's the PBA versus the rest of the world. And it all continues now.
For the second straight Sunday, the PBA comes your way from the South Point Hotel and Casino right here in Las Vegas. Today, it is the second event of the season opening World Series of Bowling. We welcome you to the Pepsi Viper Championship. Rob Stone, 13-time titleist, Randy Peterson with you. Kimberly Pressler will join us momentarily. Thus far, through this edition of the World Series of Bowling, we've seen kind of 2 themes emerge. Both of them happen to be on display this afternoon. The first, Randy, being the abundance of international talent out here.
You're right, Rob. 43 international players at the World Series representing 14 different countries, and you're going to see 2 of them today, starting with Hall of Famer from Barquisimeto, Venezuela, Amleto Monacelli, and our number 1 seed from Bogota, Colombia, Andres Gomez. You know, Andres has never made a telecast here in the U.S., but he's got a lot of international experience. We'll see how it pays off today.
The other theme being the power game, and that one represented by maybe the next great American talent, Bill O'Neill.
Yeah, he's really arrived, and you know, it started with the win at last year's U.S. Open, and you could just see it coming. I mean, he was making a lot of shows, then he figured out how to win, then he figured out how to win a major. But let's not forget the other power player on this telecast, and Tommy Jones, a former Player of the Year. And I think power reigns supreme this week on the Viper oil pattern, because as the lanes broke down, the power players could move in, create more angle, and actually make the lanes a little bit softer.
Our first match just happens to be a rematch from last year's World Series of Bowling. And Kimberly, it was one that neither O'Neill or Monacelli will soon forget.
That's right, Rob, because at last year's World Series of Bowling, Amleto Monacelli and Bill O'Neill went on and met up at the Chameleon Championships. Unfortunately, an arm injury to Amleto crippled his chance up against O'Neill, who went on to win his first ever PBA Tour title.
That match was really hard for me to bowl Amleto when he was hurt. He's a guy that I idolized growing up, and it was just kind of an honor to get to bowl him on TV. But you know, when he was hurt, it just kind of took away from him a little bit.
It was bad. It was, I mean, I would say that was one of my worst experiences, you know, to bowl a TV show like that, you know. And it's just, my mind was into the pain, you know. I couldn't really think, what, you know, what I could do, what can, you know. If I was healthy, wow, I mean, 80% I got a chance to win that tournament, definitely, because I knew what to do. I just couldn't do it, you know.
Come on. I was just hoping that you know, that we can just go out and have a better go at it this time, because last time, I mean, I bowled 170, he bowled 140, so that's not good TV.
Here's Mike J. laneside with the introduction.
The number 5 qualifier owns 19 PBA Tour titles from Barquisimeto, Venezuela. PBA Hall of Famer, numero 0, Amleto Monacelli.
Randy, say his hometown for me again. I really like the way you said it in rehearsal.
Barquisimeto.
It's wonderful. What a great talent he is. And let me tell you, that guy takes care of himself. 49 years old. That's not what I would have guessed.
Yeah, Amleto's in great shape, and he's always kept himself in great shape, and that's obviously what you can attribute to his longevity.
19 career tour titles, looking for number 20 today.
And Rob, I think it was real interesting when we were speaking with him during our interview, how excited he actually sounded to be back out here bowling on the telecast, bowling in the championship round, and you could really see it and sense that it's almost like he's rejuvenated.
Jason Belmonte telling us how impressed he was by Amleto's reaction that he made the TV show. Said, man, that guy still got it. Inspired me. Now, the introduction of our 4-seed, Bill O'Neill.
The number 4 player owns a pair of PBA Tour titles, including one major from Southampton, PA, the real deal, Bill O'Neill.
For years, the title of best American player, Walter A. Williams Jr., Norm Duke, you go a little younger, the Wes Malots, the TJs, the Chris Barnes. This guy now belongs in that conversation. Just 2 tour titles, both of them coming last season. On that list, the 2010 U.S. Open that he won.
Well, and you're right, Rob. Everything that you said about Bill O'Neill and the level that he's taken his game, he's really figured it out. He's figured it out mentally.
Here's O'Neill, spare conversion. Takes care of that. O'Neill, second to Walter A. Williams Jr. on last season's point list. Here's his arsenal today, Randy.
Oh, a little taboo. Strongest bowling ball in his arsenal that he brought out today. He's trying to get something to just roll real smooth off the end of the pattern, pick up the middle part of the lane.
Our first strike of the afternoon. You know, he finished last season tied with Walter A. Williams Jr. and Mike Scroggins in the Player of the Year points list. Lost the tiebreaker on season points to Williams Jr.
Take a look at that taboo, the rotation. And, you know, the scary part about O'Neill now, Rob, is he's starting to look real comfortable on television. Scary combination.
Monacelli in his 95th singles television appearance. He's comfortable. But still seeking his first strike today. What are you seeing early from him?
Well, this looks like it's a little soft out of his hand, and you're going to watch too much down lane reaction. You see him get to the break point pretty well, but just comes off of the spot too hard and goes right through the nose.
So an open frame for Amleto in the second.
So, Rob, I know you've got a lot of experience when it comes to soccer. Explain the
You want
Amleto
the jersey. You like the jersey? It's the black and the red of AC Milan, one of his favorite soccer teams over there in Italy. As we take a look at Monacelli's Arsenal, Arsenal also being a football club over in England.
That's
it all comes together.
Amleto throwing the anarchy, going with lots and lots of power, just like Bill O'Neill in the taboo.
Off the open frame in the second, Monacelli to open the third. Still in search of a strike.
Okay, move a little more left.
Well, in case you didn't understand what he just said,
I understood it.
I'll
fine.
translate it in English for you. He said he's just going to move a little bit more left.
Thank goodness we have the bilingual Randy Peterson here.
Okay. I'm actually surprised he said that in English, because normally on the telecast, Amleto never speaks English. It's always in Spanish. Or sometimes Italian.
4-7, we go into the pit. Amleto will take a seat. When we return, we'll tell you about Bill O'Neill's ESPYs Awards experience and have the conclusion of his opening match with Monacelli. The World Series of Bowling on ESPN is brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of bowling. Columbia 300. Columbia bowls the world over. The makers of Bear Aspirin, Bear. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Glad you're back here with us at the South Point Hotel and Casino here in Las Vegas as ESPN's presentation of the World Series of Bowling rolls on. Time now to know a little bit more about the wood today. The Lumber Liquidators know the wood with Randy.
Hey everybody, let's talk about how the players are going to navigate this 37-foot Viper oil pattern. Notice the heavy concentration of oil in the middle part of the lane. That's that deep dark blue color. This area is going to get the most play today. But there's an area that you really need to be concerned with. Unlike last week's Cheetah Championship, notice that there's blue all the way across this oil pattern. So no free friction of the outside part of the lane. In fact, if the players get their bowling balls right of the break point at about the 7th or 8th board at the 37-foot mark, their bowling balls have no chance of getting to the pocket.
All right, thank you, Randy. Back here with the Pepsi Viper Championship. And while we stepped away, Bill O'Neill in the 5th, dropping what I like to refer to as a ham bone. And then in the 6th, you can call it a Yahtzee or drop it in nickel, whatever you want.
Oh! Amleto steps up in the 4th frame after going high in the 3rd. Once again, it's through the face, only leaving the 3-pin. Amleto, move left, make an adjustment, brother. Open it up. Guess what? He listened. Perfect 10 in the pin.
So here we are through 5.5. O'Neill with a huge 55-pin lead. Monacelli, bottom of the 6th, working off a strike in the 5th. Still just one strike today for the Venezuelan.
Well, he made a ball change there and looking for a little less reaction down lane and
Made the right ball change.
a little upset with himself not being able to find the pocket, and rightly so.
Well, there hasn't been much to be happy about in his game today.
Well, and I misspoke. He did find the pocket, but unhappy in the fact that he's not striking. Made a great shot the last time on the left lane. He just switched to a high road on the right lane, only to leave a 4-pin, can't put 2 strikes together.
Last time he was on TV was versus Bill O'Neill. And he rolled an injured 142, his lowest score ever on television. Not faring much better here today, unfortunately. Heavy.
And what you're seeing is what makes the Viper oil pattern a little more challenging. You get the ball left of target with not enough angle, and there's no chance of that ball holding pocket. Just not enough oil in the middle part of the lane. Now, on the flip side of that, if you get the ball too far to the right, it hits that hang spot and never gets to the head pin.
You're watching the top 5 finishers through qualifying here at the Pepsi Viper Championship. We look at the rest of the top 16. That crawl come your way underneath us. And we focus now to Bill O'Neill and Randy with a 58-pin lead through 6.5. It clearly isn't a completely done deal that O'Neill's going to move on, but he's firmly in control. How do you approach the rest of this game from here on out if you're O'Neill?
Well, you want to stay in the groove. And now you want to look at other ball reactions and just get yourself locked in for the next match and make sure that you're completely confident with the line you're playing and the bowling ball you're throwing.
That next match will be versus 3-seed Mike DeVaney. As we go high above Bill O'Neill. Sneak in from behind to watch this spare attempt. So O'Neill remains clean through 7. We talked about the ESPYs story. Bill O'Neill invited to the ESPYs this year in LA. That was won by who else? The living legend, Walter Ray Williams Jr. But Bill saying that what a great experience it was. His wife Christy was kind enough to let him take his brother rather than her to the event. And you know, he's a Philly guy, so he said one of the big highs for me was not being without his wife, of course, was running into the legendary Dr. J.
Nice.
Yeah. So after that string of 5 strikes in a row for O'Neal, he's now facing back-to-back spares.
Well, Bill O'Neal's in the 230s, the best Amleto Monacelli can shoot right now, 212. Bill's just looking to fill frames with marks, and he will advance. It's good to see that man bowling well again, though. Always enjoyed watching Amleto Monacelli. His unique style when he first came out on tour, gosh, some 20 years ago.
You're not the only one who enjoys watching Amleto. If you take a look at the fans in attendance, usually when Amleto's bowling, a preponderance of fairly attractive women seem to be in the area. Amleto leads the 10-pin, a frustrating afternoon for the Colombian and for his fans, who are still at least flashing their smiles. Woo! Skinny jeans didn't fit there as he misses the spare conversion and an open frame in the 8th for Amleto. Mama said there'd be days like these, and the last 2 TV outings for Amleto have been borderline nightmares. This is the pocket there, and this one just being gift wrapped for Bill O'Neal.
You know, and you're exactly right when you said, Mama said there'd be days like this, because right now he just wants to find some place to go hide.
Yeah, and it's not here.
And it's not even in the vicinity of this place.
So O'Neal sitting down will move on to match number 2. And another open frame for the Venezuelan. So tour title number 20 will not be had today for Amleto. Bill O'Neal still in pursuit of his 3rd career tour title. Here he is in the 9th. Now after that streak of strikes, it's been nothing but spares for O'Neal. Again, he may be doing some dabbling and some experimenting.
Yeah, well, he hit the pocket 2 times right after the 5-bagger. This is the first ball that's actually missed the pocket the entire game.
Cleans that one up, so O'Neal will move up the step ladder. 4 seed taking care of the 5 seed. Up next, number 3 seed Mike DeVaney takes to the lanes. Hopefully it's not lane number 32, which had his number this week. We'll explain that when our coverage of the World Series of Bowling's Pepsi Viper Championship returns to Las Vegas.
Welcome back to the World Series of Bowling from the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. When most people think of a bowling shirt, they think of something like this, the old school button-up shirt. But on the PBA Tour, that is just not the case. The pros nowadays are wearing shirts that are made by Gemini Sports, and they are custom designed and personalized to express their individuality. Jeff Carter loves Van Halen, and it shows from the stripes on his jersey. Scott Norton obviously loves the beach. Rhino Page's jersey features a satellite photo of a hurricane, reflecting his interest in the weather. And Steve Jarris, there's no doubt he's a diehard Chicago sports fan, with jerseys modeled after the Blackhawks and the White Sox. So getting into the spirit of things, I got my own shirt. Rob, Randy, what do you think?
That's a loaded question, isn't it? I think Kimberly looks pretty in all color.
I'm thinking I didn't get a shirt.
Yeah, I knew you were going to think that because I was thinking the same thing. How many years we've been doing this thing? We can't get a stinking shirt? That girl, Kimberly, way to flex your muscles. I like it. So Bill O'Neill moves on in easy fashion. And up now, match number 2 as the real deal set to take on Mike DeVaney. 244, 159 victory for Monacelli. Dropped 7 strikes, including a 5-bagger, frames 2 through 6. That's what really helped him pull away. That's how you start. And now for the intro of O'Neill's opponent.
The number 3 qualifier is a 2-time PBA Tour champion from Murrieta, California, Mike DeVaney.
If you enjoy laughing, spend some time around this gentleman.
Yeah, he is quite the hoot. And that's putting it mildly. You gotta like some of his hobbies too. We'll get to that in a minute.
DeVaney won his 2nd tour title last season at the World Series of Bowling and the Scorpion Championship. Victory over Sean Rash and then won over Jason Belmonte to get the title. Very emotional moment.
Yeah, it was. It was nice. It was nice to cover that. It's nice to see how much that meant to a man that goes by the nickname of Smash Mouth or Monkey Boy.
Both of those nicknames somehow seem to work, whether you know him or not.
Yeah, without question. But I just think it's kind of neat, some of his hobbies, sports, thoroughbred horse racing, and ultimate fighting.
Both of those he doesn't participate in.
Correct.
He just enjoys watching. He doesn't have a body for either of those sports. We kid because we can, Mike. Mike will be laughing at us. Here's Bill O'Neill, bottom of the 2nd. So O'Neill a perfect 2 for 2 with a pair of back-to-back opening jacks. O'Neill, a standout performer for Team USA in the Men's World Championships held in August in Munich, Germany. He earned gold medals in singles, all events, and team. Also won a bronze medal in trios where he was partnered up with Chris Barnes and Tommy Jones. Ironically enough, it's Tommy Jones who will take on the winner of this match. Jones, your number 2 seed here at the Pepsi Viper Championship. Carry. Yeah. So a triple for O'Neill to fire that up. DeVaney versus O'Neill continues when we check back into Vegas. Plus, we'll hear about Mike's passion for the ponies. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, Kimberly Pressler, welcoming you back to our continuing coverage of the World Series of Bowling while we are away. Tough times for Mike DeVaney, Randy.
First open came in the 3rd frame. Back over on the right lane again after throwing a strike, goes right through the face, leaving a very unusual 3-4-7. Gutsy move trying to go for it, but you know what? He had no other option when his opponent started with the front 5 strikes in a row, which is exactly what Bill O'Neill has done.
So O'Neill up 60, perfect through 5. Here he is to close out the 6th. O'Neill had the 7th highest average on tour last season, just a shade over 219. Open that 6-pack, Randy.
Okay. Let me show you why Bill O'Neill's having so much success. There's 3 keys to getting your ball to be delivered into the 1-3 properly. First, get it through the front part of the lane consistently, get it to read the break point, and have it enter the pocket at the right angle. Bill O'Neill is doing that perfectly today.
session ends with the 10-pin standing strong in the 7th. Wife Christie still applauding hubby's effort. O'Neal firmly in control, up 69 here. Here's his final touches on his effort in the 7th. So he remains clean. O'Neal in good shape. Mike DeVaney steps up, and Mike DeVaney with some issues over on lane 32 this week. He was telling us, obviously having some issues right here as well, but fell not once but twice over on lane 32. Had some issues with his footing. The surface went from slippery to tacky. And here he is trying to string 2 together in the 7th. There you go, Mike. Hard day for Mike here at the lanes, but you know where it's a good day for him usually?
Where's that?
The horse track.
I was kind of bred into going to the racetrack all the time. I grew up going to Del Mar. My dad took me to Del Mar when I was a kid, you know, and back then they had what was the 49er, which is the pick 6, you know, races 4 through 9. And he always wanted to hit, he always thought he was going to hit the 49er. He never hit it. Played it 3 times a week, you know, from the time I was old enough to walk. And he always took me with him to the racetrack. Some people only are interested in the betting aspect of it, but there's other people who are interested in you know, in the beauty of the horse and you know, their actual athletic ability. It's an amazing animal that you know, gives it its all. I've been to probably 80% of the thoroughbred racetracks in the United States. So you know, with our traveling and being around all over the place, it's more or less, you know, kind of like something I'm interested in. That's, you know, like I said, is away from bowling that I really enjoy, you know, learning more about.
Here's a look at Mike's arsenal. Prodigy with the highest hook rating. Looking for 3 in a row here in the 8th. Will not find it.
And I think that's a common theme when you look at the equipment. The players start with the strongest of the equipment that they bring out, because as the lanes start to break down, as the oil starts to dry up, they can always go to less aggressive bowling.
Mike cleans that one up, and just want to send congratulations on to Mike and his wife Carrie. They welcomed a brand new daughter into the family, Everly Jean, a couple months ago. She's here in attendance. Beautiful little girl. Always like to see that. Saw last week Richie Allen and his wife expecting a little girl in March.
Congrats to both of those families. Bill O'Neal now up in the 8th frame.
Strike number 7 for O'Neal.
It's making him look easy.
And we send it into the stands. Kimberly with Bill's wife, Christy.
Last year, Bill O'Neal had a huge season. As we mentioned, he won his first ever PBA Tour title, but then he went on to win his first ever major championship. Now I'm with Christy, his wife. Now you're also a bowler, so what's it like for you to sit on this side when he's out there?
It's very exciting, but it's a lot harder to sit back here as you have no control as what's going on out there, but very exciting.
Well, you guys had an exciting year this year as well, because you just got married in May. How's married life?
Everything's great. We had a perfect day. The honeymoon was great, and now we're looking forward to great things this year.
Plenty to cheer about with O'Neal's outing here today. So far, just that 10-pin in the 7th frame, the only thing separating him from a perfect game thus far. So we'll take another look at his lovely and talented wife, Christy. O'Neal and the rest of that rat pack renting a place out here in Las Vegas for the World Series of Bowling. They like to do that when they get down to LA too, if I'm not mistaken. DeVaney with a strike there in the 9th.
Well, this match is over, but Mike DeVaney will take this experience, build on it, and continue his profitable ways. You look at Bill O'Neal, who's just making a mockery of a fairly competitive oil pattern in Viper. This isn't the easiest oil pattern you'll ever bowl on.
It's been a combination of things thus far. His two competitors have coughed up some serious errors, but O'Neal has been lights out as well. So O'Neal, one of his goals this season, finally win that Player of the Year that he was just barely denied last season. He's in good shape right now as the number 4 seed moves on to take on Tommy Jones. The World Series of Bowling on ESPN is brought to you by Barbazol. Start your day with Barbazol Shaving Cream, America's leader for a close, comfortable shave. Golden Corral, help yourself to happiness. Budweiser, great times are waiting, grab some buds. And by Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less.
This year's World Series of Bowling has attracted PBA members from all across the planet, but the player to attract the most attention during qualifying wasn't a PBA Tour pro. He's an engineer by the name of Scott.
What could be better than this, huh? Look at this. I'm in with all the pros right here.
Scott Salem has seen and done a lot throughout his nearly 25-year career with the Howard Stern Show.
I'm the audio engineer for the Howard Stern Show, meaning I'm responsible for everything that you hear.
Did your arms start to hurt after all those games?
I was sore, yeah. My whole body was sore.
Here in Vegas, the lifelong bowler took some time away from his day job and relished the chance to roll with the pros.
Everybody on the show is very supportive. I think they're hoping I do very well. Although, in the back of their minds, if I do badly, it works better for them, because especially for Howard, because he'll just rip me apart.
What happened when the ball was caught on your thumb and the ball almost hit through the ceiling?
Oh, my God.
You know, I saw that on Howard TV.
That was actually a good thing, because it happened in practice a few times where the ball actually just stayed on my hand.
Right.
And it almost rips your arm.
I started when I was a kid, when I was, 7, 8 years old. Been bowling my whole life. In the 60s and the 70s, when it was on TV, I followed it religiously. I had to be home on Saturday afternoons, and watch the tour, and I followed it all through the years.
He's always played in leagues, but to prepare for this event, Scott went to the pros for help, including the legendary John Petraglia. With Howard TV here to document his progress, Scott's followers showed their support. But when it comes to the sport of bowling and all of its professional players, there's no bigger fan than Scott himself.
The response from everybody else around has been, there's big fans behind me, so the response has been phenomenal. I mean, from support from Brunswick and from pros that are willing to train me and just step up and just help me in every way. I can't thank everybody enough.
Throw a ball like that, you could go on tour someday.
Yeah? I guaranteed to Howard that I beat one person. I beat one pro. Success to me is finishing in the top 200.
I actually did pretty good. I did better than I thought. I beat 40 in the World Series, so I am so pleased and happy, and it was an experience that I will remember forever.
Well, congratulations, Scott, finishing
217 overall.
17 overall.
That
Not
was
bad
great.
for a guy who's not a pro.
Not a pro, second oldest there.
This is a chance of a lifetime, and it was that. It was terrific.
Yeah, baby.
Look forward to seeing Scott out there in the future. Maybe we'll get Howard out there at the U.S. Open in New Jersey. There's an idea. The holiday season is here, and the store at PBA.com is a great place to shop for the bowler on your gift list. The all-new line of PBA apparel includes logo t-shirts, hoodies, polos, hats, and more. Check out the new styles for the season. Place your order now by clicking on the shop link over at PBA.com. There's a look at number 2 seed and 2-time major champion Tommy Jones. He rolls next when ESPN's coverage of the 2010 World Series of Bowling returns to Las Vegas. Bill O'Neill, your number 4 seed, 2 for 2 on the day, trying to make it 3 for 3 as he is set to battle number 2 seed Tommy Jones next year in the semifinal match of the Pepsi Viper Championship as ESPN's coverage of the World Series of Bowling rolls on. Glad you're here with us. Rob Stone, soon to be inducted. Hall of Famer Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler joining you here this Sunday. Here's O'Neill getting ready to roll. Games of 244 and 242 already for O'Neill. 85-pin win in match number 1, a 33-pin victory in match number 2. Here's match number 3 versus Tommy Jones. That's how we start a match.
Looks like a little bit more ball speed, that deep inside line. Oil pattern's breaking down. Players are moving in.
The number 2 player owns 13 PBA Tour titles with 2 majors. Former PBA Player of the Year from Simpsonville, South Carolina, TJ Tommy Jones.
TJ quietly made 3 TV shows last season, quietly because he made the last one, the Daido Japan Cup, and happened to win it. If he didn't include that win, it's kind of a subpar season stat-wise from Tommy Jones, even though he had a great average in points, but that win kind of skewed things. And a good start for TJ there. He's a guy a couple of years ago, you and I both said, he may be your next player of the year again.
Right.
And a little hiccup maybe.
Yeah, remember though, he still has the highest winning percentage on television in the history of the PBA.
Mm-hmm.
Taking a look at his arsenal, and again, the Mission 2.0 may not be the strongest ball made by his manufacturer, but it's the strongest ball in the arsenal that he brought out today. As the lanes break down, he may shell down, go to something a little less aggressive. I think what we've seen in the past couple of years, Rob, is the propensity for Tommy Jones to get a little too firm, get a little too pumped up, get a little firm, and throw it right through the break point. And that's what it looks like he did on this shot. You see that ball just never made it back, leaving with 2-4-8. Not the easiest spare conversion, but Tommy Jones pretty good on multi-pin spares this week.
And there's another multi-spin conversion. So O'Neill clean through 2.
The whole way I thought I had that.
Rather, TJ clean through 2. O'Neill and Tommy Jones, both part of Team USA at the Men's World Championships back in August in Germany. I asked O'Neill about that event, and things that jumped out to his mind were that the guys played a lot of poker and the amount of chocolate consumed by Chris Barnes and Tommy Jones. I don't know. Apparently they were just motoring down the Twix and the Kit Kats.
Couldn't wait for Halloween, eh?
I came early in Germany.
Stop.
God bless him.
Jesus.
Nose.
That. Good God.
Haven't seen much of that from O'Neill today.
No, a little grabby on this shot at the bottom. Gets a little bit too much hand in it, and so watch the ball never pushes far enough to the right. Ends up right through the nose. No split, just the 3-6-10.
So back-to-back multi-pin spare conversions for both competitors. We're even through 2. Next week, it's the 3rd event of the World Series of Bowling. Well, the two-handed finish wonder. Little Scoop Palermo will be there. Former Masters champ Sean Rash. Former PBA Players of the Year Chris Barnes and Wes Malott. And your tournament leader, Scott Norton. First-time TV finalist in the number 1 seed spot. See that one next Sunday on ESPN at 1 Eastern, the Million Championship from right here in Vegas. Whoa, whoa. Bill did not like it, walked away from it, likes the result. I get the feeling maybe a couple question marks for O'Neill early on, but a big strike there for Bill in the 3rd. And the conclusion of O'Neill. Jones when we return to Vegas. And welcome back to Las Vegas in our continuing coverage of the Pepsi Rifle Championship. Bill O'Neill riding the wave of a three-bagger. Sits down. Here's Tommy Jones down 10, looking to match a three-bagger with O'Neill. So far, these guys have been absolutely identical. Strike, 7 spare, strike, strike. Oh, a late kick on the 10th. On the 10-pin, rather, and Jones, O'Neill, exactly identical through 5.
Now watch this. Head pin's going to go to the sidewall, and he's looking for that. He's looking for the love from the messenger to come across and take it out. Oh, yeah. And you always get a hand slap when you roll that messenger over there into the 10. And
it's our first true messenger of the season.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I enjoy, you know, I enjoy me a good messenger.
Nobody loves a good messenger more than Rob Stone.
So we're even here through 5. TJ, Tommy Jones, set to start the 6th. Split knee.
Really? Just went high on that lane. Light and that.
Remember, he went light the very first shot he threw on this left lane, leaving the 2.48. This one here just never picks up getting down the lane, leaving the 2.810, and it couldn't have come at a worse time. This match was all tied up.
Takes care of the 2.8, not so much the 10, an open frame and an opening for Bill O'Neill. O'Neill, 4 strikes through 5 frames. Trying to complement a 3-bagger right now in the 6th frame. Get yourself an old-fashioned ham bone right there.
O'Neill starting to get a little cyborg-like. Just steps up and just keeps repeating shots. The expression never changes. Everything is just facing the 1-3 pocket, and it's just 10 back every shot.
How much has he changed from match 1, match 2 to here in match 3? Slightly, a little bit?
In terms of reaction?
Sure. In terms of where he's releasing.
He's continuing to move in and chasing the oil line as the lanes dry up. He continues to push left.
How many arrows do you think?
1, maybe 2.
Tops. And another strike.
I mean, he's probably moved about 4 to 5 boards at the arrows and maybe 8 to 10 with his feet since the first match.
Whatever he's doing is working just fine. 5 in a row for O'Neill, the lead at 35. Here's TJ in the 7th.
That's usually what happens when you end up going light on one lane. You overcompensate the next shot to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Tommy Jones, the higher seed in this match, inexplicably has chosen to finish on the left lane, a lane that he has opened once before.
Tommy down 35, closing this one out. What is your approach? What does it have to be here, 8, 9, and 10?
Well, I mean, bowling against Bill, he's definitely going to have to throw a strike out here to have any chance. So, you know, just going to have to get up here and try to make a good shot on this left lane. I'm a little baffled by it. I really thought the last one over here pretty good, and apparently wasn't quite lined up very well.
What don't you like on that left lane that you're seeing?
You know, it just seems to flutter a little bit down lane, but as soon as you get it there early, it kind of wants to pick up. So it seems to be a little wet dry.
So here is TJ, last 2 frames, open frame, spare. Here he is to start off the 8. The 8th down 35. many pins avoided that 7?
Well, that's just a cruddy break right there. And Tommy Jones is looking to try to get in to the head of Bill O'Neill ever so slightly by striking out. He had a possible 224, which would have made Bill O'Neill stay honest. Instead, now the best he can shoot is 214. It's just a bad break.
Bill O'Neill made 5 TV shows last season, winning 2 of them. He won the Chameleon Championship at the World Series of Bowling in early September, and then won the 67th edition of the Lumber Liquidators US Open. That one coming in late February, looking for his first title of the season and his first TV appearance of the season. And he is well on his way to the title match.
And answering your question, remember he's starting to move in and open up that front part of the lane, which is making his ball reaction pretty sweet, giving him a little bit of left to right.
Time now for our More of What Matters to You fan question, brought to you by the makers of One A Day. Randy, do you think oil patterns become easier or harder with more friction on the lanes? That one coming from Brian in Louisville.
Well, Brian, I think they become easier when there's more friction, unless the friction is in the front part of the lane. We want friction to the outside part of the lane and friction down the lane. Anytime there's friction in the middle part of the lane or up front, the scoring pace is going to be extremely slow. And generally speaking, on our tour, the fresher the oil pattern, the lower the scores are. And as the lanes start to transition, as they start to break down, the players start to see friction. They can then move in, throw to the friction, and open up the oil pattern a bit.
45 pin advantage for O'Neill. Both Jones and O'Neill making their first televised appearance of the season here in the second event of the young season. Seven pin decides to drop that time for TJ. And O'Neill will advance and move on to your title match. And Bill has done it by putting together big fat streaks of strikes through every match he's played today. He had a 5-bagger in match number 1 versus Monacelli. He had 6 in a row to start off the second round match with DeVaney. Here versus O'Neill, strikes in the 3rd through the 8th frame.
Hey, well, nothing better than kicking a man when he's down, eh? That's Tommy Jones, 2 really good shots.
Figured I'd make it. I only shot it 45 times this week.
Go on, brother. Okay. And that's all she wrote. There is Mike Moniak, the director of bowling operations here at South Point. We appreciate all his efforts and that of his staff last couple weeks here and here today as well.
Mike Boniak used to bowl on tour way back in the day when I first started. We're not going to say when, and don't smile at me. I know what you're thinking.
Another route for O'Neill.
O'Neill, all he's doing is averaging 240. Shooting 240 every game.
So Team O'Neill moves on to the title match, another convincing victory. And our title match in its entirety when we return, the Colombian Andres Gomez taking on Bill O'Neill. We welcome you back to the Pepsi Viper Championship. Bill O'Neill having a cakewalk, an 85-pin win, a 33-pin win, and then a 56-pin win over Tommy Jones. He is set for your title match versus Andres Gomez. Here now, your Geico Championship recap.
Hey, Rob, this Geico Championship recap is all about a little steamroller by the name of Bill O'Neill. In match number 1 against Amleto Monacelli, he has a 5-bagger, shoots 244. Then in match number 2, the little steamroller, well, he has a six-bagger that shoots 242 against Mike DeVaney. Then in our last match against past player of the year, Tommy Jones, our little steamroller with another six-bagger that shoots 248. Let's see if Bill O'Neill has any steam left for the championship match.
Thank you, Randall. That's what they're playing for. And we are set for the title match, uninterrupted, commercial-free. Bill O'Neill, your 4 seed, taking on the man from Bogota, Colombia, Andres Gomez. Here is Bill O'Neill, 2 tour titles, 1 major on his resume already. O'Neill has been consistent all day, a 244, a 242, and then a 248. Time now for the introduction of O'Neill's opponent.
The tournament leader owns multiple world titles, including 3 South American championships from Colombia, Andres Gomez.
This the first career television appearance in America for Gomez. He was on Eurosport during the AMF World Cup a few years ago. Plenty of television experience overseas, just not here in the States.
I got to tell you, Rob, I love the international flavor at this year's World Series of Bowling. I just think it adds so much more to the sport.
You see the NBA and NFL dabbling in the international market, trying to get out there. Love to see the PBA stage a couple events over there. I mean, selfishly, I would love to visit Barcelona right about now.
Absolutely. But I mean, look at the PGA Tour. The #1 player in the world right now is Lee Westwood from England.
And here's Kimberly with a little bit more on the foreign invasion here in Las Vegas. Kimberly?
Rob, there are only 4 international players who've ever won a PBA Tour title on U.S. soil. They're Mats Carlsen from Sweden, Hall of Famer Amleto Monacelli from Venezuela, Finland's Mika Koivuniemi, and Australian Jason Belmonte. And we'll see if Andres Gomez can pull off the win today to become number 5.
And Gomez, Kimberly, with a spare in the first. Here he is to start the second. Checked a little early on him. That
looked like he got it left of target. Remember, it's all about angle through the front part of the lane, and that's what creates a little bit of hold. But once that angle goes too direct or too much up the lane, the ball will never hold off. See this? See how deep he's playing, sliding in the left gutter, but never got the ball far enough to the right. His angle was too straight.
That's why it's not always easy to be that #1 seed in the Stepladder finals. A guy like O'Neill has seen these lanes transition all afternoon long. He knows where they are, and Andres gets a couple warm-up tosses in between each match and has a brief little window to try and figure out where things are before he has to roll for the money.
Yeah, Bill O'Neill has the blueprint. Andres does not, and I think it's even tougher because of the fact that he's never been in this situation before. Now he's the #1 seed. He doesn't get the luxury of maybe getting a game under his belt.
Get there. 2 for 2 to open up. The title match is Bill O'Neill. Again, we will be here through the duration of the title match. No commercials.
You know, I mean, Bill O'Neill hasn't even broken a sweat today. He started at the bottom. He's climbed the ladder all the way to the championship match. And the demeanor hasn't changed. His posture hasn't changed. The only thing that's really changed is the angle that he's playing on the lanes.
25 total strikes already for O'Neill. And talk about quick starts. Look how he's jumping out of the gates and jumping on his opponents already today. Doing the same right now to Gomez. Looking for 3 in a row. Get up. The leadoff triple for O'Neill.
He's not giving his opponents any room to breathe.
Gomez beat Tommy Jones in the position round to move up to the #1 seed spot. The native of Bogota spent a lot of time in Fort Lauderdale as well. Gomez still still seeking that first strike. He actually came to the States with the desire to bowl collegiately at the University of Florida. Went to Gainesville, and things didn't really work out there. Went to a community college, then ended up in Orlando at the University of Central Florida, where he bowled there. So splits time between Columbia and the Sunshine State. Looking for his third consecutive 9 spare.
Andres Gomez and I have a mutual friend back home by the name of Carlos Tobon. I actually started teaching Carlos to bowl way back in the day, and Carlos just happens to be a really good friend of Andres, both coming from Bogota to the United States to learn how to become a professional bowler. Andres made it. My friend Carlos decided to go to another route. As you take a look at Andres' arsenal, he's actually switched to a rein after the first 2 frames, but his angle much, much deeper than Bill O'Neill's angle. If you notice where this laydown point is on the lane, several boards left of Bill O'Neill's.
Looks like something just worked for Mr. Gomez. And we see this a lot, Randy, through the years. So many times we see the top competitors make a change too late. Gomez doing it here.
We're going to take a look and watch the direction of this shot. It's going to be laid down about here. It goes out to about that 7th or 8th board, and then all the way back. You see how deep that is, about the 25th board.
And O'Neill drops an opening ham bone. Saw that graphic just a second ago about the great quick starts for O'Neill. Here's another one.
Now this shot's going to be at least 5 boards right of Andres Gomez's shot. Watch this laydown area here. Ball out to about the 19th or 20th board, still giving angle to the right, but a lot farther right on the lane than Andres Gomez, and it's proven to be very, very successful. Pretty good shot coming up here from Bill O'Neill. Now this ball here is just going to enter the pocket just a little soft, leaving that half 10, but boy, he hasn't left too many of those today.
Busy off season, as it is for so many of these professional athletes for O'Neill, but bowled in Korea in September, spent time in Europe, a visit to Finland as well. And here is Gomez, who's getting set for the Colombian Nationals, which will be held in Medellin soon.
There's a rookie mistake. Andres getting up on the wrong lane.
I was going to take a practice shot. Like the humor, Andres. Has never been a #1 seed in the Stepladder final.
Oh, looks good.
The deep voice of Mr. Gomez.
I love it. He sounds like Sosa from Scarface. It's my favorite guy to interview.
Oh, it looks good. I like as we take a look at our PBA World Championship standings through the Viper Championship. Again, the top 8 advance to the first major of the year, the PBA World Championship. And there's Bill O'Neill sitting in 6th right now.
Norm Duke, Sean Rash, Kimmo Lehtinen from Finland.
Those numbers do not reflect where the bowlers finish up on the TV show. That's what they do through qualifying. And you can see that World Championships in January from right here at South Point. Oof. Could have used 3 in a row right there to get back into this match.
Yeah, and he's running out of time, and he's going up against a guy who has a lot of confidence and a lot of mo in his corner right now. There's the hand rotating off the side, starts from underneath, feeding it right, having it hook left. Nice shot of that rotation.
So still just 2 strikes through 6 frames for Gomez. O'Neal already with 4 strikes and is set to close out the 6th with a 22-pin advantage here in our title match of the Pepsi Viper Championship. Eugene McCune won last week in the first event of the season, and here in the second, Bill O'Neal in control. And another strike for the real deal, Bill O'Neal. And O'Neal's going to cause some real problems for the rest of the people in the PBA if they think he's somebody not to be dealt with. I mean, this is a guy who has got Player of the Year in his sights coming into this, and a win here really would help elevate that cause.
Yeah, he's the real deal. There's no doubt about it. And no, I recognized that when I saw him finish 7th or 8th. Gosh, it was like 6 years ago at the U.S. Open. You just knew that this kid was destined for greatness out here on the tour, and he's proven it, just getting better and better year in and year out.
6th year on the tour. Seeking his 3rd career tour title, and another strike for O'Neal.
He's not hooping it up yet. You know,
No.
it's still business as usual until he locks it up.
And the missus is calm too. I like that. The O'Neal family knows about the sport.
It's all about experience, babe. Bill O'Neal is very much up the back of the bowling ball, controlling the transitional move as that ball comes off the end of the pattern. And that's why his ball reaction's been so phenomenal this afternoon. Just good stuff at the bottom of the swing. And see, Rob, there's the difference. A lot of angle from Andres Gomez, the ball coming up late, finishing behind the head pin, leaving that soft 10. Just a lot of angle is creating that soft 10 for Andres Gomez. Bill O'Neal much softer. Excuse me, much straighter. Much less angle.
Another spare for Gomez, which allows O'Neal to further distance himself from the Colombian.
Hey, Rob, I've got an idea. Let's find out a little more about my friend from South America.
Well, I've been bowling my whole life, since I was 7 years old, back in Colombia. I used to watch the PBA shows, you know, taped, and I used to, when friends flew into the United States, you know, we'll get a couple tapes and just watch the shows. So I was always, you know, my whole passion was to get to the PBA and to make a show to win a title. I grew up watching Amleto. You know, he was just 20 years old, and I was about 7 years old watching him bowl. And then I got to be on tour and travel with him. So that's definitely my passion. I also love golf, like I think most bowlers do. So that's been it.
Well, if the bowling doesn't work out and he can't make it in golf, it sounds like he could be an opera singer with those golden pipes, maybe a baritone or a bass. But right now what he needs to do is figure out a way to change his angle so that when his bowling ball does hit the pocket, all 10 pins go down.
6 strikes through 7 frames for O'Neal. Quickly closing in on his 3rd tour title. Carry. Has never been in a bad spot today, has he?
I don't think he's ever trailed in a match.
Not only that, he hasn't even left himself any challenges in the spare department that I can remember.
Yeah, this is the closest that we can remember here going high. He actually really liked that shot and said, you know, asked for it to carry, but he doesn't even split. He just leaves the 4-7. No open frames in his first match. No open frames in his second match. And only opened in the 10th frame of his open frame in the 10th frame of his second match. It didn't even matter. He'd already won by 40 or 50.
No splits either that he's left, right? The spares have all been relatively simple conversions.
No splits.
Just a real clean performance.
Very tidy.
From the guy who may be the next great bowler this world has seen. He may be there already, frankly. blows up the rack again, does O'Neal. Team O'Neal in firm control of this one.
Very tidy work. This is all but over. Bill O'Neal in the 230s with any kind of mark in the 10th frame. The best Andres Gomez can shoot is 225.
Last year, remember Brian Zysik won the Geico Markroff Plastic Ball Championship, the last to win their first title on their first American TV appearance. Gomez was trying to follow suit. Now look how far left he is on the lane to start that in the weeble wobble effect on the 10 pin, but no dice.
You know, if I was him, I would just like wind up and kick the ball return as hard as I could. You know, hey, if they're not going to go down, I'm going to take my frustrations out. I'm going to get my money's worth on my first television show, and people are going to remember me.
I mean, his approach, he goes straight, bends to the left. This is not easy, the way that these lanes are having to play today.
2 or 3 steps and just haul up and lay one into the bar return.
I agree. I say go WWE. Let's get some folding chairs out, start breaking them, do some table work.
Just another great shot. He's only missed a pocket once.
Bill O'Neal's been frustrating people all day long.
Well, right now it's, yeah, Bill O'Neal's bowling a nice, solid game, but, you know, with any kind of carry at all, Andres would be in this match. 0 pin carry. 3 consecutive 10 pins, 7th, 8th, and 9th frame. There's the 4th in a row. And you know what that tells you? He's using the wrong ball.
This would be his 8th 9-pin spare of the match.
Yep.
8th.
Wrong bowling ball, no pin carry with the ball he's using, and unfortunately that's the tough part about being in a one-game match.
And Bill O'Neal can celebrate his 3rd career PBA Tour title. Gomez slams that one into the side. Has one more effort, does the Colombian.
Any odds on a strike? 10-1. We're in Vegas.
Only 2 strikes today for the affable Gomez. An exempt player, finished 26th last year. It was my first time meeting him. Came away very impressed. This young man, wonderful personality.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Great ambassador for Colombian bowling. Yeah, there's a strike.
All right.
Finish strong.
Hey, ball.
And now the Viper coronation. Bill O'Neal has already locked up his 3rd tour title. Here he is in the 10th.
Bill O'Neal, Pepsi Viper champion.
He won the Chameleon at last year's World Series of Bowling. Won last year's U.S. Open in Indianapolis and gets his season off to a strong start here today with a commanding victory here at the Pepsi Viper Championship. Was never pushed.
That's 2 weeks on tour, 2 wins with the taboo. The best ball in the market. You better get one.
236, 203. I haven't heard a better plug like that in years. A 33-pin victory, his 2nd 33-pin win of the day. Couple that with an 85-pin victory in match number 1, a 56-pin victory in the semifinals, and it was a Pepsi Viper day dominated by Bill O'Neal.
I never get used to this.
Wow. So the standout Team USA performer adds some more hardware to the growing trophy case. We'll hear from Bill O'Neal when we return. The World Series of Bowling on ESPN is brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of bowling. By USBC and its 2 million members. To find out more about USBC, log on to bowl.com today. the makers of One A Day Men's 50-plus Advantage, the multivitamin with more of what matters. Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. 33-pin victory in the title match of the Pepsi Viper Championship, career tour title number 3 for Bill O'Neill, and he seals it with a little kiss to the missus, Christy and Bill O'Neill. And Christy standing by downstairs with Kimberly.
That's right. I am with the happy couple. Bill O'Neill, you had a phenomenal game. Now tell me, why is it that your ball reaction was so much better than everybody else's today?
I just think the other guys were trying to hook it too much. They were trying to get their hand around the side of it and make it hook down lane, and I was just trying to roll it as much as possible. I picked up the taboo, and that was the ball for the day. I could just get it off my hand and roll it, and it wasn't going to overreact down lane.
Well, a lot of people are saying that right now you are the best bowler in the world. How does that make you feel?
I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. There's still some things I got to work on in my game to get there. I might be bowling better than anybody in the world, but I don't know if I can be labeled the best bowler in the world just yet.
Well, Christy, it looks like the honeymoon is continuing. He takes this win today. What's it like watching him so happy in this moment?
It's great. It feels really good. It makes it a little easier when he bowls really well like that on TV when I'm sitting back there in the stands.
Well, congratulations on your 3rd PBA Tour title.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Kimberly. There's a lot of great talents in the PBA. We recognize that. We talk about them every week. Where do you think Bill O'Neill sits in that little pool right now?
Well, you got to put him right up there with Chris Barnes. I think if you were to pull the tour or the players out here on the tour, they would probably say that Chris Barnes is the most talented player. Bill O'Neill is right on his heels.
He is fun to watch. Next week, we'll be right back here in Las Vegas. It's the Chameleon Championship. Speaking of Chris Barnes will be in action. Wes Milan, Sean Rash also will be there. You can see that one, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN. For Randy Peterson, Kimberly Pressler, and our entire crew, I'm Rob Stone. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, The Real Deal. Bill O'Neill in cruise control all day long as O'Neill claims his 3rd ever Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour title.